Thank you for the hydrate, dude. Hello, Potato Shoe. Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. We are hanging out with Pow today, doing a little bit of knitting. We've got Bella here, trying to destroy things. Sometimes if I forcibly cuddle her like this, she'll settle. And Moon, welcome in. That's good. For some reason, it's easier for me to knit with Bella in my arms like this than letting her wander around my desk. And yes, too brings up an excellent, excellent point. It is our good friend Moonfae's birthday this week. Yay, birthday week! Pow's coming to tell you all to go follow them. Twitch.tv/Moonfae. Link is in the chat. And yeah. I know they've got some streams planned this week to celebrate, some fun stuff going on. And I heard that there's a new act dropping in Valorant tomorrow or Wednesday. So that'll be exciting to watch. I don't play Valorant. I watch Moon play Valorant, and I enjoy doing that. I think I need to move my camera a little bit so you can see more of the knitting. There we go. So we are knitting this evening. I actually do knit still. I know. Hard to believe. This one is entirely Potato Shoe's fault. They shared in the Discord server a pattern called Stellar Sailor, and it was an immediate, I need this on my needles right away. And I have a pretty large stash of sweater quantities of yarn, and I had kind of like an idea of what I wanted to do with each yarn. And one of those sweater quantities aligned very nicely with Stellar Sailor. So it was like I already had the yarn. I already had the yarn lined up for something in this genre. And yeah, I couldn't resist. So I haven't gotten very far. Bella is casting a shadow here. Hi, Bells. Oh, we're done now? You can lay down there. You just can't knock over stuff. I know. You want to knock stuff over so badly. So this is... I took my eye off of her for a second and she knocked over one of my drinks. Bella. My love. Okay. So this is how far I've gotten so far. No, you don't get to need that either. Sorry, guys. This is how far I've gotten, so not very far. I've already made a few modifications to the pattern. The first was it had a drawstring waist, which A, I wasn't super a fan of, and B, would have been really hard to modify to knit flat, so I just didn't do it. I did 2 inches of 2x2 ribbing instead. And then I moved right into the cable pattern. I also modified it. It is worked in the round up until the underarms. It's worked bottom up to the underarms, and then split front and back. But since I've been having so much more comfort and more like being able to stitch for longer using straight needles, I adjusted it to be knit flat in pieces instead of in the round, which really wasn't a difficult switch for this particular pattern because there's not much shaping or anything like that. Turner Tricks, welcome. Glad you could join us. And Potato Chew says, I don't like the drawstring waist either. I wondered if you took it out. I did, yeah. So let me see. I was trying to pull up a let's see if this will work. Oh, it worked. Success. So this is the pattern. It's Stellar Sailor by Paul Hassemeyer. And this designer was a little bit on my radar already, because he was published in, if not the most recent issue of Knitty, the one before, with a really cool sweater. Anyway, so this is the sweater I'm working on. So it's got this large asymmetrical cable, and then small cable motifs across the rest of it. Very, very simple drop shoulder construction. No shaping whatsoever. Even the sleeves have no shaping, which is quite nice. I might add some shaping to the sleeves. And if you want the link to that, no, Bella. If you want the link to that pattern, it is in the, if you use the project command on Twitch, it will bring up a link to that. Trick says, hello, those cables are neat. They are neat. That's what kind of drew me to them, is because it's got these like very traditional braid cables here, and then that like very non-traditional big bubbly motif over here. And hello, Rachel. Welcome in over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. To just helping out with the link there. If you're ever curious about what I'm working on stream, the project command is usually updated. If you're in Twitch chat, you can just type !project and it'll bring up information on whatever I'm working on. So I'm kind of at the point with the braid cables that I can read them and know what I'm doing. He recommends in the pattern to place stitch markers between each motif, but that would be a lot of stitch markers, so I did not. And Quarter Stitch Crisis, welcome in. Thanks for the lurk. I hope you enjoy. And Rachel is actually working on the Deadly Aquarium Sal. Amazing. Taking advantage of that extra week we have to catch up on it. I did finish mine. I am all caught up. I finished the latest clue like 3 days after it came out. So it is currently sitting in my drawer, all folded up, waiting for next Friday. So we'll probably be working on it during Friday's stream. Friday's stream will be a cross-stitch stream. But I've been really enjoying knitting lately, and I wanted to do a little bit of it on stream. And I do I adore traditional cable Aran patterns. I really do. I actually had started one for myself in a really rustic yarn that I absolutely adore. Unfortunately, I think I might have to frog it, so I'm kind of a little bit bummed about that. Rachel says they just finished their first 1,000 stitches, so 10% done. Let's go. Quarter stitches, body doubling for the win. Perfect. That's exactly what I am here for. Body doubling, hanging out with you, telling you all kinds of information about crafts that you did not need to know. Did you ask? No. Am I going to tell you anyways? Yeah. Are you going to learn strange and interesting facts about ancient alien theory? Yes. Also, this is one of the stitch markers. I made this out of a set of earrings that I got at Hot Topic. It's an exotic beverage for you Five Nights at Freddy's people. So I really, like I was saying, I love the look of traditional Aran sweaters. Kind of the best known examples are the Alice Starmores. And I actually have her book, Aran Knitting. Unfortunately, nothing in the book fits me. It was written originally in the 80s, republished in the 90s, republished again in the 2010s. And while some sizes have been added, it still maxes out at like 48-inch chest. So, as always, I guess I'll have to do it myself. But I have been working on one of her patterns. I basically just took the sweater design and was knitting it at a larger gauge, which I thought would work out to fit me. I don't think it will. I was doing some filming earlier today for an upcoming video on the YouTube channel about basically how to resize projects for larger sizes. And thank you for putting up that YouTube link for the people on Discord, for the people on Twitch. So I'm hoping to get that video in the next couple of weeks. But basically step one is taking your measurements, of course. So I took my own measurements, showing you how to do that and walking you through and all that. And then I realized, looking at my measurements, that like I might actually have made the Nakraga sweater, the Alice Starmore sweater, too small. I'll show you what I mean after I finish this row. I've only got a few more stitches left in this row. I also have my pattern pulled up on Knit Companion just out of view. So I'm not just knitting this off the top of my brain. I actually am referring to a pattern as I'm going. However, the braid cables, like the smaller cables, they're kind of at a point where I can read them, so I know what's coming up there. One's a braid, one's a honeycomb, and one is kind of an extended knot. And the extended knot is the only one that might trip me up. But if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. I miss cross cable here and there. Not the end of the world. I also don't use a cable needle. Once I learned how to cable without a cable needle, I never looked back. even though Mr. Hassemeyer decided he was going to put 2/4 cable twists in this pattern. Let me tell you, that's fun to do without a cable needle. It is not fun to do without a cable needle. But it's not so not fun that I want to go through the hassle of using a cable needle. If that makes sense. Are you sensing a theme? I don't like using cable needles, and I don't like using needle threaders. Just like extra equipment I don't care for. No. Potato Shoe says, it's looking really good so far. Thank you so much. I'm so enjoying it. The gauge did turn out larger than that listed in the pattern. I'm using the recommended needles listed in the pattern, but I was really happy with the fabric I was getting in my swatch because the Heartland is thicker. It's on the heavier side of Aran. So I decided to just go with the larger gauge, and therefore I'm knitting a smaller size at a larger gauge to create a larger garment. But I'm really happy with the way that it's working up so far, because sometimes if you do cables at a larger gauge, they end up looking like not as good, a little bit not sloppy, but just like looser. Cables always do have a tendency to develop kind of loose stitches and holes. That's just the nature of cables. I've seen some newer knitters get a little bit stressed out when their cables have holes, or they have enlarged stitches, like extended stitches. That's just cables. The yarn will kind of settle into place. A wash and a wear will help. And thank you so much for the hydrate, Toot. Hope you guys all have something nice to hydrate with as well. I will say, however, even knitting this flat, this is a lot of stitches to fit on a 14-inch straight needle. So when I'm not actively working on it, I do use a needle stopper to keep things from popping off, because I haven't experienced any problems with the tightness while knitting. It's just I get nervous about setting it down. It is also difficult to kind of look at how things are working out because there isn't a lot of extra space to stretch it out. Earlier I have barber's cord, and I just stuck the barber's cord onto this end so I could stretch it out to its full width just to make sure it was going to work. And it looked really good. Potato Shoe says, honeycomb cables stress you out that way? Exactly, yeah. Like this one here. Let's see. This is a honeycomb. And as you can see, there's quite large holes every time that the cables diverge. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of honeycombs. Potato Shoe says, I wondered if maybe you could split it into 4 panels instead of 2. I did consider that as well, like doing just straight down the center. My only worry with that is a sensory one, because that would put a seam right down the middle of my chest. And I think that might just be too sensory. So this is working out fine for me, because I will probably wear this right against my skin. I won't wear it over anything. So yeah, just the less seams, the better. But I'll show you the other Aaron sweater I was working on. I don't know where to put this. Bella, you hang on to this for me, okay? Okay, bye, Bella. So this is Nakraga. So this is the front or the back of Nakraga. They're both done the same. It is 100% wool. So the cats absolutely love it. Unfortunately, this is the same yarn that I use to make their cat toys. Bella, are you going to calm down and let me show this off? Okay. So this is the Nakraga pattern by Alice Starmore, not Aaron Starmore, Alice Starmore. It is designed to be knit flat in pieces. So as you can see, it's just composed of several different Aaron components. A lot of the same ones that you're seeing in Stellar Sailor. Like here's a braid cable, here's a honeycomb. There aren't any just plain knots in this one, like twists, I mean, but it is some of the same motifs. Actually, well, no, this isn't even a twist. This is an S cable. Like this is, even the ribbing is. Bella just tried to bite me, but she has no teeth, so it's fine. Even the ribbing is a cable. Absolutely beautiful. So I calculated the size of this based on my chest measurement. My chest measurement is 57 to 58 inches. Bella, can I help you, ma'am? My chest measurement is 57 to 58 inches. So this would fit my chest. My hip measurement is 67 inches. There's a 10-inch difference. So I was a little bit concerned about this because there's no shaping in this piece. This is the bottom of the piece. So this is the part that's going to go around my waist and my hips. So if I lay it flat, this is a measuring tape that is permanently stuck down. So if I lay it flat, so I need at least 67 inches for 0 ease. 0 ease means it doesn't stretch when I put it on. It's not loose when I put it on. So the front is 22.5 inches. If the back is also 22.5 inches, yeah, that's not 67 inches altogether. That's 45. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I like give it a little bit of a stretch and then it'll be a little bit snug around my waist, but it'll fit nicely around my chest. If I stretch this to its fullest, and it does have a good amount of stretch because it is 100% wool, there's a good amount of spring. If I stretch it to its full width, I can get this piece to 35 inches, which would make the sweater fit around my waist. So it would fit, but it would look like this. It would be completely stretched to capacity. It would be skin tight. And honestly, that's not how I envisioned the fit for it. I wanted something that I wanted something that was like just that nice classic square silhouette. And hello, Camel. Welcome in. Sorry for bumping the camera there. The gauge swatch pre and post blocking. It's a great question. I did my gauge swatch over a year ago. I don't block my swatches, by the way. I barely swatch. Give me one sec. All right, my gauge. My gauge was 19 stitches over 4 inches in the cable section. And Toot and Potato both suggested, could I do a side panel that tapers off? I could. I very well could do a triangular side pattern that would give me more of a parallelogram shape to the sweater. However, I don't really want it to look like that. Like I don't know. There's something about the vibe of the sweater. I could make it work with what I've done so far, but I don't know if I want to, is the thing. So I'm not going to do anything about it right away. I'm going to kind of set it to the side. I've got so many other projects to work on, but at least now I know before I keep working on it that it's not going to fit as is and something needs to be done. Whether that's do rectangular side panels, frogging it completely and restarting, recharting it, doing it on a larger gauge, something like that. So yeah. And Toot says, if frogging will give you the shape you want, sounds like you know what to do. Yeah, I think I do know what to do, but I'm gonna work on Stellar Sailor because Stellar Sailor has the exact same shape as Nakraga. It's just a different cable pattern, and different yarn, obviously. So, yeah, I can kind of use this as a more forgiving trial for the shape, and then whatever I decide to do with this, I can then transfer that onto Nakraga. Potato Shoe says, I struggle with wanting a boxy shape too. My hip to bust is even larger than yours. Yeah, I know it is difficult for people with our shape. And the thing for me is I don't mind having something snug around my hips and loose around my chest. I don't mind that shape on me. It's as long as I can sit comfortably without the shirt digging in, I'm fine with having a straight silhouette on my pieces because it is only a 10-inch difference for me. And 10 inches of ease around my chest it's pretty good for me. But if you have a higher ratio than that, or you want something that is more fitted, more tight, then that's going to be where the difficulties come in. And I'm hoping I'll be able to highlight a few different techniques you can do for trying to combat that in the upcoming video. If you guys do have any resources or suggestions, things that you have done in the past, I'd love to hear about them because I want to just, crowdsource as much knowledge and information as I can. And also, to just put up the prediction. If you're over in Twitch chat, there is a prediction up you can, excuse me, there is a prediction up in Twitch chat. We're going to be giving Pow a treat. Pow is our tortoise on the camera. We're going to be giving her a little treat. We're going to be giving her some watermelons and some strawberries. Not watermelons. Pieces of watermelon, not entire watermelons. So you can vote with your channel points. See which one you think she is going to go for first when we go to feed her. And we will do that. We will do that in about half an hour. And if you are watching this over on YouTube and you'd like to make a guess, absolutely drop your guess in the chat, and I will award you imaginary channel points. Channel points of my love. Quarter Stitch says strawberries. And Potato Shoe says, that would change my vote. Yeah. And Potato Shoe says, if I try that, the hem ends up at my waist. Yeah. Yeah, because the other thing is fabric doesn't hang in straight lines. So if you're moving the fabric out, it moves the fabric up. So you need longer if you're going wider. Turner says, I want to see Pow smash an entire watermelon. I would love to just slash a watermelon in half and put it in there and see what she does. Rachel says, you have to go? Go eat dinner. Okay. Try to come back to live. Awesome. We're going to be live for about another hour and a half. So enjoy your dinner, and we may or may not see you later. Turn Trick says half a watermelon would be like a swimming pool. It would be, yes. It's a hat or a boat. So one good thing about doing this flat in the round is every other row on the chart is a rest row. Sorry, give me a sec. My yarn ball was all tangled up over here. Every other row is a rest row. So I don't have to like try and remember if I need to cable this row or not. If it's a right side row, I need to cable. The captions are not my friend right now. Potato Shoe says, I'd love to see that too. Well, Toot has very kindly put up a TikTok that I posted of how in a watermelon, a mini watermelon. That's a mini watermelon. And hello, Orchid. Welcome in. I'm so glad you could join. I know you are out and about and being busy. I'm glad you enjoy the auto captions, Turner Tricks. Potato Shoe says, I'd put up a laughing emoji if I could see them well enough to pick one. On yeah, that's a mood. And Orchid says, gotta be here for the gambling even on vacation. Absolutely. We're doing watermelon versus strawberries tonight. So get your votes in. And Toot says, y'all are not prepared for Skeledile. Yes, Toot has something very special planned for Skeledile. I'm very excited to see it. But yeah, I've had pattern modification and gauges and things like that on the brain all day since I've started filming for the video on doing said things. And just trying to get my thoughts in order because I've talked about it a little bit, but I've never really sat down and laid out my method for making something fit myself before. And I don't know if I've seen anyone else do it either. Like if you guys have seen a plus size creator talk about how to modify garments to fit their bodies, I would love to watch it. Because I have not encountered that. Orchid asks, what is my stitch marker? This is my Exotic Butters stitch marker. I made it from a pair of Five Nights at Freddy's earrings. Because there's a lot of issues about not just knowing your own measurements, but also understanding ease and what that means for how a garment sits and how it fits your body. And it can be really overwhelming. And honestly upsetting. If you're a large person like I am, a big boy, if you're a big boy and you have to measure yourself and you're seeing these numbers which are, sometimes 2 or 3 times larger than the models that are modeling the pattern you want to make, it can be upsetting. It can be like, even if I'm good with my body, I like the way that I look, but I know it can be difficult. So I'm hoping to be able to talk people through that. Orchid says, good luck crafting. I gotta go. Let me know the gamble. Of course, Orchid. Have good vacation. We'll let you know how it turns out. So yeah, it's like find the measurements, figure out what ease is, figure out how much ease you like, and then do a ton of algebra. And then do some swatching, and then do more algebra, and then do more swatching, and then do more algebra, and then you might get to start the project that you were really excited for, like 4 days ago. Which I know is less of a problem for people who are able to use their dopamine receptors correctly. But at the same time, I'm kind of addicted to making garments for myself now. Just seeing them come together and seeing them be finished and like wearing something that you made that like fits you is such a good feeling. Potato Shoe says, I don't even look at patterns much anymore because the size inclusive tag wears you down. It makes you feel bad to be excluded from the inclusion. Yeah. I feel you there. Yeah, it does suck to have to do extra work to be the same as everyone else. So I'm hoping that I can make that a little bit easier for some people. I was really happy with this pattern actually because it's legitimately size inclusive. I'm making a size 6 out of 10. Even if I wasn't doing a larger gauge, I would still be making a size 7 out of 10, which is fantastic. Because usually I do have to make the largest size and then make modifications on top of that. Potato Shoe says, yeah, my biggest measurement is within the range. It's amazing. I know. I'm so happy. And like, it's a very well written pattern. And I'm quite enjoying it so far. The main kind of bubble cable is it's a little bit challenging, but the rest of the cables are so easy that like, it's not like every row is a total struggle. It's just 36 stitches out of every row. You have to kind of check and double check your work. So what I did, because it's quite straightforward in terms of shaping, it's basically like once you get past the folded hem and increase and do your cable setups, it's knit this for 17 inches. So what I did was I did load the entire pattern into Knit Companion, but then I created a separate PDF that's just I'm not going to show you all of that actually. I'm just going to show you this little bottom bit. But a separate PDF that's just the cable patterns. So I can just refer to this because they are on 2 separate pages in the pattern itself. And I have to like flip between pages to get across a row. So this way they're all on one screen pretty much. But like I said, the braid cables, the like smaller ones, are very easy to memorize. Hello, Moon. Welcome back. You're back to gold too. That's amazing. Congrats. Heck yeah. So that means you're going to get the fancy gold rank buddy at the end of the act, right? We're talking about the video game Valorant, by the way. Nice, that's so exciting. Moon says, yes, I will have my gold buddy, and next episode I will get the plat buddy. Yes. we are here for Moon's platinum rank era in Valorant. Knit Companion it's a pretty decent app for, I'm not sure if it's on iOS. I know it's, oh, we've switched screens. Hi, Bells. Thank you. Thank you for that, Bella. It's a pretty decent app for Android. I'm not sure if it's on iOS. And I believe it is coming to Windows at some point soon. But basically, you can load a PDF pattern into it. You can even load them directly from your Ravelry library, and then kind of track where you are in the pattern, with the use of highlights and markers and things like that. And there are quite a few paid functions for marking up the patterns. I don't have the paid version because I don't use it enough. But it's a nice little app. It's very handy. And I have it loaded onto my Kindle. Same one that I use for my cross-stitching pattern keeper. There are a few other ones, few other apps that people use. People even use things like, what's the name? The iPad one that's for marking up PDFs. I don't know. People even use like Canva and markup, I think. I don't know. Although I am a little bit old school in that I am currently tracking my rows by literally paper and pencil, ticking them off. Not so much marking my rows as to where I am in the pattern, because I can do that by reading my knitting. But I am trying to track my stitching the way that I do with my cross stitch. It is more difficult to do that with knitting, however, because if you're doing increases or decreases, then your number of stitches per row is going to change quite rapidly. And it can be a bit difficult to calculate the number of stitches in a complete piece. So I kind of just estimate how many stitches are going to be in a complete piece and then track what I do on the daily. And it gives me a rough idea. It's not as accurate as tracking cross stitch using Pattern Keeper, but it gives me a rough idea. Well, you got about 8 minutes left in the guessing game for which fruit Pau is going to go for first during her tree eat. So you can get your guesses in now. The contenders are watermelon or strawberry. And I have to tell you, Fruit Bat Summer is off to a great start. Both the watermelons and the strawberries are smelling delicious. I don't eat a lot of watermelon. I don't care for the texture. but the smell of it is just so nice. And I can show you kind of what I mean by reading my knitting before I get too far onto this needle and I can't spread out my stitches. All right, so these are some of the cables. So this one here, it's a twist cable, but it skips one twist. So I will have 1, 2, 3 twists right in a row, and then it'll skip one. And the twists always go in the same direction. So I always know if it's 4 stitches wide, I'm probably twisting. I might not be. I just kind of have to count the number of twists in a sequence. This is a honeycomb cable. The cables go out and then in and then out and then in, then out and then in to create that honeycomb. So all I have to do is look and see which way did I go last time. I went this way, which means I have to go this way this time. And so this cable is 4 stitches wide. This one is 8 stitches wide, and this braid cable is 6 stitches wide. So I can tell just by looking at how many, and then each one is bordered by 2 purl stitches. So I can look and see, okay, there's 2 purl stitches, 6 knit stitches, and 2 purl stitches. So I'm on the 6 stitch cable, which is a braid cable. And the braid cable, it's 2 cable rows that you have to remember. The first one goes this way. The next row goes, you shift down 2 stitches and go this way. And then you shift down 2 stitches, go that way, shift down 2 stitches, go this way. So all I have to do is look, okay, last time I went that way, so this time I had to go this way. So once you've got that pattern established, and it really only takes a couple of, not even 2 repeats to establish that pattern, you can remember. And that's what I mean by reading your knitting and how it becomes easy to remember. So it looks really complex and difficult, especially braid cables. I find that they end up looking very, very complex. But in practicality, they're easy to remember. So setting up your cable row is going to be the most difficult part. Because that's the first row where you are counting and you're like, okay, I've got to do 2 purls and then 6 knits and then 2 purls. And then, so setting up your cable rows, doing those first couple of rows is going to be the most difficult part of doing the cables. And honestly, the cable setup row takes me 4 or 5 times longer than any other row. But if you get that right, then the rest of it's just a matter of doing it a few times, and then it'll be stuck in your head, or you'll be able to pick it up from what you were doing last time. And because I don't use a cable needle, I don't have to slow down too much, because I'm not picking up I hecked that up. Just talking about how great I am at cables. Guys, I'm awesome at cables. Anyways, because I'm not juggling the cable needle, I don't have to slow down too much. And cabling without a cable needle. So with a cable needle, what would happen now for this one is I would slide these 2 stitches onto a cable needle, hold them to the back of the work, knit these 2 stitches, and then knit these 2 stitches from the cable needle. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rearrange my stitches. I'm going to put my needle through these 2 stitches, pull these 2 off the needle. So these are not on the needle right now. They're just hanging out loose. I've got them kind of pinched in place with my finger. Put them back onto the needle where I'm going to eventually end up stitching them. And then just stitch in a row. So basically I'm rearranging my stitches before knitting them instead of rearranging them while I'm knitting them as I would with a cable needle. And it seems really scary and intimidating the first time you do it, but it gets to be just total muscle memory. Moon says, I love how puffy and textured it is. Yeah, I'm loving the way this yarn is working up. So this is Lion Brand Heartland, the 100% acrylic yarn in the colorway Grand Canyon. And it's got just like a little bit of tweedy variation to it. Like you've got like these little dark flecks and lighter flecks. It's just so cute. And it's really soft and squishy. I'm working this up on a 5.5 millimeter needle. And I'm really liking the drape and the stitch definition I'm getting. I could probably drop down a needle size and get slightly more defined cables. But I feel like that might also give me a stiffer fabric. So that's the trade-off. I want nice cables, but I would also like comfy. I'm also going to be lifting this cable pattern for a hat for a friend. I kind of got the urge to go stash diving and cast on a hat. So I am going to use this same cable pattern. Whenever I'm knitting a worsted weight hat, I always look at the Tin Can Knits pattern Barley, the free pattern, and I just use their stitch counts for how many stitches to cast on, and then I kind of wing it from there. All right, we are ready to go for our treat. I'm just going to pull us up here. So here's Pal. So get your vote. The vote's closing now. All right, there we go. We're about to find out. Is it going to be strawberries or watermelon? And then stay tuned for a very special appearance by Skeledile. And thank you, as always, to Toot for providing the treat. So we got some watermelon on the left there, strawberry on the right. Pal does not appear to have realized that there are things in her enclosure yet. Or she's just really, angry at having been picked up. I mean, how dare. Oh, there she goes. All right, Pal, what's it gonna be? Glaring at Mama? All right. You got strawberries, you got watermelons. Giving them both a sniff. Is it going to be the strawberry first? Oh. Was that a no? A no to the strawberry? Maybe. Keeping us on at the edge of our seats here. Oh, she's doing it a heckin' sniff. Oh. And now we're giving the watermelon a sniff. All right. That is a clear watermelon victory there. Clear watermelon victory. so many sniffs to that strawberry. She did a big reach for her watermelon friend. Moon says she's hamming it up and she did a big reach. Patrick says such a decision. Yep. Tater says, I thought for sure she was going to eat the strawberry. I thought she was too. I don't know what she didn't like about the strawberry because she was sniffing that hard. All right, let's do our prediction here. And Toot pointed out, I don't know if you guys could hear them. I know the captions picked it up. But yeah, she could probably smell the upcoming banana and was like, this is not banana. Maybe this is banana. Okay. Giving her a little snack back there. I don't think you guys are ready for Skeledile. I hacked up another cable. That's fine. I was paying attention to Skeledile. And here is the Skeledile. He is disguised as a Skeletort. Turtrix says, I was confused about the change. Oh my god. Yep, it's amazing. This is a work of art. I'm so excited about this. Toot did a phenomenal job putting together Skeledile. Yep. He's got a watermelon shell. He's got watermelon insides. Oh, he's about to have watermelon outsides too. So because it is treat eat time, that means that we have been going for about an hour. So while Pow destroys her friend, make sure you stand up, stretch, uncrack your back, unshrimp your posture. Quarter Stitch Crisis says that is amazing. I know, right? And Thel, welcome. You made it just in time. Portisha says add making tablescapes to your list of skills. Yeah. Toot has a tablescape gift. You should have seen the horror lamb she constructed out of Jello one Easter. It was incredible. And Toot says that Skeledile is currently rocking a watermelon ribs and shell, grape toes, strawberry mouth and tail, and banana bones. Okay, thanks, Des. Yes, if you look at the leg bones, they are covered in banana. Oh, and the spine. Nice. Oh, yes, I see it on the tail. I think Pow doesn't even know where to begin. Does this says that's amazing. Thank you. And yes, two did an amazing job on Skeledile today. I'm so pleased with it. So we provide Skeledile as enrichment in her enclosure, because in the wild, she wouldn't just be given a bowl of food every day. She would be foraging for it on the forest floor. She would, be digging around, rooting around. Her beak and nails would be kept trim by scratching against rocks and things like that. And one of the things that they might eat is, if she found a skeleton on the ground with some food on it, she would eat it in the wild. So that's what we're doing for her here. Does ask, did you take a picture? I will grab a few pictures from the VOD, dude. Absolutely. I heard one keeper describe tortoises. There we go. She's eating the banana. Describe red tortoises as the world's slowest zombie. Because if you put down something in their enclosure, they'll go for it. But just very, very slowly. Her beak is actually strong enough to snap through bone, which is why we do not let her have unsupervised playtime with the cat. We joke that she's not in her enclosure to protect her from us. It's to protect us from her. Does says snapping turtles are so powerful. They are really powerful. But that's why they are so dangerous, is because they do have sharp jaws and beaks. And they are not afraid to use them. I don't know what she's digging at. I wish I could zoom in this camera. I think she's managed to get under her crocodile friend. Oh, she tore off some banana, Toot says. You know how she gets around banana. Yeah, we know how she gets around banana. I definitely think I have to clip this and edit it down. Because the Skeledile deserves to live in infamy. but Fruit Bat Summer is approaching for all of us, which means lots of, well, in the northern hemisphere at least, which means lots of delicious fruit. My favorite thing around this time of year is definitely strawberries. Cherries are already starting to go out of season, but strawberries, because I love cherries, but they're a lot more work. Oh, here she comes. Going for the other banana. Look behind you, pal. Pal. Pal, he's right behind you. Are you just posing? This is gonna be the thumbnail later for the VOD, guys. She's posing for the thumbnail. That's what she's doing. Moon says she's such a ham. She really is. Yes, does. She is majestic. And Turner Tricks, yes, she is such a pretty ham. Toot says she's playing Among Us and thinks she's found the imposter. Yep, see, more banana time. Before stream, I went to tidy up her enclosure, and every day I give her a dish of like leafy greens and cabbage and a little bit of fruit, and she had broccoli this week. She had dumped her food bowl out. She was sitting underneath her food bowl and eating the food that she had dumped out off of the ground. I don't even know what to do with her. Does ask, is that a compliment to be a ham? And Toot says to be a ham just means they play it up for the camera. It's an old acting term for actors who overact like William Shatner. Exactly. Moon says she was building a secret hideout. Yeah. Her secret food hideout made of food. Des says, ooh, I learned something new. Well, you are very welcome. Whenever our animals show off for the camera, we just say that they're hamming it up. And thank you, Des, for the hydrate. Just switch tumblers over here. Don't forget to hydrate as well, my friends. And Toot says Gigi is the pure definition of ham. He is. He's a big ol' handsome bimbo, and he knows it. So if you weren't around earlier, just to recap, we are currently watching Pow devour her treat, and I am working on a cabled Aran pullover. It's a traditional Aran with a twist called Stellar Sailor by Paul Hasemeyer. And I just got it started. I'm working on the front right now, or maybe the back. I'm not sure. The front and the back will basically be identical until I get to the collar. No, that's not true because it's asymmetrical, so they will not be identical. I'm working on the front. I know things. So the back, this bubble cable will basically be on the right side of my body, both on the front and the back, which means when I go to knit the back, I will do the bubble cable at the start of the round instead of the end of the round. We just lost the camera. Toot's gonna go check that out, do a little bit of troubleshooting for us. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, I'm just gonna flip us over. We're gonna do a little bit of chilling with Spirit City. I'm gonna go take a look at the camera, see if we can get that back. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. The camera just turned off. The battery was full when we started stream, but is now completely toast. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of troubleshooting. Let's see what I missed. Thank you, Toot, for taking care of chat while I was gone. And Morgan, hello, hello. I am making Stellar Sailor by Paul Heisenmeyer, as Toot just posted the link. Yes, right now I was making tech support. Bella is the streamer now. This is Bella. And Toot also triggered our acronym of the day. Acronym of the day is a game that we play here where I put up an acronym that has a meaning, usually related to what we're doing. And you guys come up with different reasons that could be. Different reasons that could be. Different explanations, translations. What is the word I'm going for? I'm not even sure anymore. Anyways. And Toot says maybe it was also affected by the moist heat. Yes. And Toot has been providing many good long forms for the acronym CN. Yeah, I think maybe it's just slightly too damp in that enclosure and it zapped the battery. So I will I'll do some checking after stream, make sure we can get it up and running for next stream. Sorry about that, guys. I will make sure to get lots and lots of pictures of the aftermath of Skeledile. Yes, Toot says it was overwhelmed by Skeledile. It was overwhelmed by Skeledile. There's just too much Skeledile. Okay. So yes, this is Stellar Sailor by Paul Heisenmeyer. It's a beautiful combination of traditional Aran motifs, like these braid cables, this honeycomb cable, with this larger kind of like bubble motif here, which is very, very cool. And it's like asymmetrical, so the bubble motif goes up the right side of the body, but isn't mirrored on the left side. Potato Shoe suggests cherries, nectarines for CN. And Toot says that's just my grocery list. Yup. Especially in this season. Jude asked, what does the CN in CN Tower stand for? It stands for Canadian National, which is a railroad, which owns the CN Tower. Yes, the CN Tower is a Toronto landmark. It was the tallest freestanding structure in the world until a skyscraper in Dubai beat us out in like the 2010s. But for a couple of decades, it was the tallest freestanding structure in the world. It looks like the Seattle Space Needle, if you've ever seen that, except like skinnier. Turntrick says, I've heard Aran as the weight of yarn, but not as a pattern style. What is a typical Aran pattern? So if you think of fisherman sweaters, so the Aran Islands are an area of Scotland where this style originated. So if you think of those traditionally cream-colored, heavy sweaters with the very complicated knots. That's an Aran sweater. So there are several traditional motifs, like the ones that I've been showing: the honeycomb, the braids, large twists, small twists. There's one called like an oak pattern. Antler cables is another one. So I can show you. So Alice Starmore released a book on Aran sweaters, which has patterns, but it also has a lot of the history of the different patterns and motifs and things like that. So this is from that book. So this, you can see, is a very kind of traditional array of patterns here. And some of them are... Bella? We can't look at how right now. You? Oh my god, Bella. So some of them are being repeated in Stellar Sailor. So like the honeycomb is being repeated. This braid cable motif is being repeated. Another thing that's very common is even in this section here. So this isn't so much a cable as it is alternating knits and purls in kind of like a checkerboard basket weave pattern. And that's also very traditional of Aran patterns. So there is kind of and then this is what's called an antler cable, because it kind of resembles antlers. But a lot of cable patterns don't have a name so much. And there was kind of this, I don't know, urban legend, rumor, myth that different families in Scotland had their own Aran sweaters. This is kind of like a tourism thing that got made up, similar to the tartans. So that's, a lot of people do sell, like, if you want like the McKinley Aran sweater pattern, you can get something like that, but it's not super historically accurate, and a lot of it is from like the late 1900s. I just said the late 1900s. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I was going to say the mid 1900s, and I realized that was like, it was later than that. Oh no. I know that's last century. I know that was 24 years ago. Listen, I'm ancient. I'm crumbling into dust as we speak. And it's funny because if you've watched The Mandalorian, which I love Star Wars. If you didn't know that about me, I love Star Wars. There's an episode where they go and they go to Mon Calamari, and there's a Mon Calamari fisherman, and he's wearing a traditional like Aran sweater under his overalls. It's the best detail. Toot says, "Grand, they tell us more about the olden times." Well, in the olden times, you had to borrow knitting books from the library if you wanted to get knitting patterns for free. And if you wanted to talk about cross-stitch online, you had to go to what's called forums. Did you know there was a time when Facebook was only for college students and you had to wait for your college to be added to the list of acceptable colleges? Potato Shoe says I was there for the bulletin boards. I know, we're all just ancient. That's okay. We have each other. British Just Crisis says, oh, you mean the last time Facebook was good and LiveJournal? Oh God, don't even get me started. This could ruin the tour. To revealing how old we are by saying that we met on LJ. We did meet on LJ. We did meet on LJ. Oh, and Potato Shoe posted the link about the Aran sweaters in the Discord. Fantastic. Thanks so much. I'm going to go check that out after stream. They just look back and Skeledial is completely naked. Oh no. He's been robbed of all of his fruit. Potato Shoe says it's about the declining quality of clothes, but it uses Aran sweaters to talk about it. Interesting. I think I read something similar. Or I might have seen that article, but I didn't read it. But I remember that being a thing about like fast fashion errands versus like hand knit errands. And then Potato Shoe asks, is she dragging it around? That's the best part. Yep. Good. Toot says she is. Yeah, she's bullying her friend. Quarterstitch says, the hours wasted on picking your top 8. I want them back. Yes, but if you didn't pick your top 8 and then your friends found out that they weren't in your top 8. Everyone was talking about it last fall when Ben Schwartz posed like that movie from the late 1900s. Listen. If you're talking about When Harry Met Sally, yes. But also, listen. Turn Tricks, that was not where I was expecting that to go. Turn Tricks says, my cat has the zoomies. I just had to fish her out of the dryer. It's a stackable dryer. She just wanted to go to space. Yes, this too said Gigi does that too. We call it a spaceship. And then we call the top of the stacked washer and dryer outer space. He's not allowed to go to outer space because we're afraid he would fall behind the back of outer space. Cherry Trick says, I don't know how she managed that, but her name is Monkey. It is a good name, Moon. I agree. That's cute. Actually, just after I sat back down from trying to do tech support, Binks managed to get on top of the stove hood and was running along that to get to the top of the fridge. Morgan says my cat is staring outside since I joined stream, and I'm a little worried what she sees out there. It's okay. It's just the shadow people. They probably won't hurt you. Turntrick says when she was a stray, she kept getting on top of my sister's house and throwing sticks at people, hence monkey. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. Cats, man. There's always a moment of like, how? And more than how. Why? Why have you done this? Turntrick says, why not? But also because cats. Yeah, pretty much. Cats don't really need a reason to do anything. Potato Shoe says our cat Banjo likes to get on top of doors and then scream because he can't get down. Yeah, Binks has done that several times. Several times. So our bedroom door, the back of it or the front of it, however you want to think of it, but the side that's facing not the bedroom has hanging like hoodies on it. Has hooks with hanging hoodies. And if I'm in the bedroom and the door is closed, as Toot said, she loses her mind and will scream and start climbing the hoodies at the door, like launch herself at them and just cling to them and climb them, trying to get at me. It's very cute, but also it's a lot. You know, like, I don't know if this is common for everyone, but you know how at like 5 o'clock in the morning you have to get up and pee and then you go back to bed and sleep until like 8 or 9 if you don't have anywhere to be? I used to be able to do that, but now when I start waking up at 5, Binks is like, you're awake? It's time to play? It's Binks? It's Binks time? It's time to play? Play with me? Love me, father? Love me? And then I just don't get to sleep. So I'm always up early because Binks is a lot. Toot says it's very cute because you're never on this side of the door when she does that. Yeah, that's true. I don't have to deal with it. I just get to receive the emotion of her screaming. So saying earlier about taking measurements of garments to make sure they're going to like fit you correctly. And one that I always take is the length of the garment from the shoulder to the hem, because I really like boxy style sweaters like this one. And basically the back is a giant rectangle. So this is the front, which means I'm going to have to do some shaping for the collar to make sure it's not like strangling me. But essentially, I'm just knitting this until it's 28 inches long. That's it. Like, there's no shaping, there's no changes. I'm just repeating these patterns are an 8-row repeat. The bubble is a 56-row repeat, so that one at least is going to be like more interesting. But yeah, it's basically just repeating these for 28 inches. Which is why I can kind of go on autopilot and just keep up the chart on not Pattern Keeper, on Knit Companion, because I don't really need the rest of it, the rest of the instructions, until I finish doing that 28 inches. And since it's pretty slow going, I got time. Des is getting comfy cozy. Ooh, Turnitrix, you gave in and you got the Satsuma Street Sal, and the intro PDF is wild. Oh, I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted. Satsuma Street is a designer that I have followed for years, and they're doing a haunted house themed mystery Sal. I want it. Archer Moon, welcome in. Thank you so much. This is the Stellar Sailor by Paul Hassemeyer. I'm working it out of Lion Brand Heartland in the color Grand Canyon. Are you guys ready to see me do a 6-stitch cable with no cable needle? Flawless. Flawless. Archer says it looks a bit too advanced for you. It's really not. I'm finding that this is quite a lovely pattern, even for a beginner. Although if you check out the link that Toot put up to the pattern, that designer has a free cabled sweater pattern called When Harry Met Lucy. That would be a great first cabled sweater pattern. And also, if you check out my coffee shop, I have a set of cabled hand warmers called Hearts on Their Sleeve. That would also make a good little first cabled project. I've got 3 knitting freebies on there. There's a colorwork pair of fingerless mitts, the cabled heart fingerless mitts, and then like a ribbed hat. One of which would be a pretty good starter pattern. Des says, love the tiny soda. It's an exotic beverage from Five Nights at Freddy's. And Archer only started learning to knit a couple of weeks ago. Okay, wow. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I learned to knit about 22 years ago. I'm old. No, that's a lie. I learned to knit about 20 years ago. That's more correct. Potato shoe. continuing to make me feel like dust. I learned late last century. Yes, yes. TH is an old. "22 years, so old. 20 years, you're just a wee babe." Yeah, I've only been knitting for 20 years. Yes, Potato Shoe, I know you're older than I am, but still, we'll crumble into dust together. And Toot says that they learned about 34 years ago. Yep, I know. All right, we're doing it again. We're doing the six stitch. But this time, I'm putting 2 stitches on my needle, and we're leaving 4 hanging out in the wind. Is that making you guys nervous? Just 4 stitches, just hanging there. Like, look, they're. I'm not even holding them. I was gonna laugh if I regretted that. Archer has been crocheting about that long, just never learned to knit. I found that I learned to crochet much later than I learned how to knit. And sometimes one of them just clicks way more than the others. And Morgan says, my first cable project was those earwormer headbands with a single braid, and it was nice. Nice. And you started knitting April last year. And that's awesome. That's awesome. I find that there are a lot of new people to the hobby since we all had to stay inside for 2 years, which is just great. I love it. Toot says the urge to yeet a cat at you right now. And yes, very nervous. Potato Shoe says, a little nervous. I know I could fix the drop stitch, but it would be a pain with the seed stitch. No, it's not seed stitch. I know. I'm very grateful it wasn't seed stitch. It's just pearls. So seed stitch would be the center section here being knit 1, purl 1 across, which creates a little bit more of a textured pattern. And that is really common in Aran knitting as well. It's called an oak pattern. And I do love the effect, but this one is just purling in the center there. So it's slightly different. I'll be very honest. I do not remember what my first cable project was. I think it was a pair of mittens that I got from like Red Heart or Bernat or something like that. And it was just a really simple twist cable. I like cables, especially because now that I can do them without a cable needle, they move a lot faster for me than other decorative elements like lace or colorwork, especially colorwork when you have to juggle multiple yarns. Toot says, my first project was a dishcloth knit on 2 pencils because I was annoying my grandmother and she wanted to give me something to do. That bit of Toot lore makes complete and total sense. Potato Shoe, you have the same origin story. You were also annoying an old person when you were taught to knit. See, I taught myself to knit. This was like right before YouTube became a thing. But my best friend in college marched into my dorm room, slapped down the book Stitch and Bitch by Debbie Stoller with some yarn and some needles and was like, "We're learning to knit." And I'm like, okay. Archer says, I did a dishcloth as a first project, working on a poncho now from Learn to Knit book. That's great. I always recommend dishcloth as the first project. Working with cotton isn't always the most pleasant for people, but if you're okay handling the cotton, then dishcloths are like a really practical way to learn different techniques, practice, and just try stuff out, because it doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't even have to be rectangular. It'll still clean dishes. Potato, she says, I was already out of college when Stitch and Bitch came out. I think it would have been fun because I was definitely knitting in my lectures. I wish I learned how to knit, but I wasn't comfortable enough knitting that I could knit during classes in college. I think that would have made it a lot easier to focus, especially at that. Whoever was doing the scheduling at my university and made Latin an 8 a.m. class on a Thursday. That Latin class tanked my grade because I could not stay awake. Toot says, when I was taught to crochet, I was handed a hook and a full skein of red heart and neon yellow and was told to chain the entire thing. Let me guess, was it to keep you busy? Morgan says, I also taught myself to knit. I don't have anyone in my life who knows how to knit who could have taught me, but that's okay because I'll be that old person teaching someone someday. I kind of feel the same way. Like my mom knows how to knit and my grandmother knows how to knit, but they're not like knitters. So yeah, but I like being able to pass on my knowledge, which is one of the reasons that I started doing the YouTube channel and I started doing the crafting videos and the podcast and all of that kind of stuff. Because I feel like I have some good things to pass on to other people. Speaking of the YouTube channel, there's going to be a short video going out on Wednesday. But if you have ever made a knitted garment and it's not fitting quite right, you might want to check this one out because it's me basically fixing something that wasn't fitting quite right, that I wasn't happy with, and turning a knitted garment that I wasn't wearing at all into something that I want to wear pretty much daily. I can't right now because it's too warm out, but so that might be an interesting view for you. That's going out on the channel on Wednesday. Our next knitting stream is going to be on Friday. Not knitting. It'll be cross stitch on Friday. Friday, we're going to get started a little bit earlier, 6 o'clock, because it is Moon's birthday stream. So I wanted to get started a little bit earlier so we can go over and hang out with Moon after stream. So yeah, but definitely come back Friday for some more knitting and chilling. I think I'm gonna wrap it up there because I just finished a row. So I think that means it is a good time to start wrapping up the stream. Thank you everybody for coming out and joining us today. I had a lot of fun. It's been great talking, knitting, and stuff with you. And thank you so much for the follow, Archer. So yes, I stream Mondays and Fridays here on Twitch as well as on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello! And I put up crafting videos and a bi-weekly crafting podcast on YouTube as well. You can also check out our Discord server, especially Archer, if you are a Discord person, you're a new knitter. We have a great group of people who know a ton of stuff about a ton of crafts, and there's usually always someone around to answer a question or two. And if we don't know the answer, we probably know someone who does know the answer. As well as, animal pictures and updates about the stream and that kind of thing. If you want to check out the Etsy store and the coffee shop, there are patterns for sale, cross-stitch knitting crochet patterns by both myself and Toot. The Etsy store also has accessories and beautiful shawls done by Toot. The coffee shop also has freebies. So if you follow on Coffee, you'll get updated when I add new stuff, including new freebies. I am going to be putting up a new freebie on Saturday, the 1st of July. So keep an eye out for that. And I'll go over all of that on Friday as well. But expect a shop update beginning of next week with a couple new patterns, a new freebie, and that kind of thing. Moon says, thank you for the stream. Thank you for coming and hanging out. So yeah, I'm sorry that we lost the POW cam there. I'll figure out what was going on. But I'm really glad you guys got to enjoy at least a little bit of Skeledial time. And this was fun. This was really fun. So yeah, Friday, 6 o'clock. And then we're going to head over and hang out with Moon for her birthday. So you can check out Moon at twitch.tv/moonphased. So right now is the time when everybody who is here on Twitch, we are going to say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. And everybody on YouTube, we're going to say goodbye to everybody on Twitch. Everybody's given POW and Skeledial a bunch of love. All right. Goodbye, YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye. Bye, YouTube. My friends on YouTube, I will see you in the podcast. I'll see you in the Discord. I'll see you in the comment section. But as always, my friends, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. All right. So now that it's us over here on Tweet,